I will be speaking for a few minutes on the subject values, the difference between success and failure. Values, the difference between success and failure. Let us adopt a very simple definition of what values means. Values are ethical principles by which individuals and communities live, work, and interact. So values include honesty, integrity, trustworthiness, perseverance, hard work, diligence, discipline, patience, respect, etc. I'd like to refer to 4 old boys of BBHS, 4 old boys of BBHS, who have held high positions in the public service of Nigeria. And I'm only going to talk about 4 in the public service, not businessmen, not academia, just 4 in the public service. And I'll explain why I want to talk about those 4 in particular. I'll begin with the first of these 4 that I'll mention. Chief Obafemi Awolowo, GCFR, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, of the 1928 set of BBHS. The next is Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, GCFR, of the 1957 set of BBHS. The third is Chief MKO Abiola, GCFR, of the 1956 set. I'll spend a bit more time on the 4th example. And this example, this 4th person, is one, and the reason why I'm going to spend a bit of time on him is because he's one that I worked directly with. I worked with him for 5 years. He is His Excellency Prince Bola Ajibola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Knight of the British Empire, of the 1955 set. He was one time President of the NBA, was one time Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Federation. He served as a judge of the International Court of Justice or the World Court, and was also Nigeria's ambassador to the United Kingdom. I was 30 years old, when I was appointed special advisor to Prince Bola Ajibola, then Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. This was my first experience in public service. And in hindsight, it was my best introduction to public service. George Ajibola was a man who had been tremendously successful as a lawyer and arbitrator. And of course, as I said, ended up being the NBA president. But let me mention 3 defining events that I experienced and witnessed while working with him as his advisor. The first was a situation where a foreign contractor who had won a very lucrative contract from the federal government went to give his son, Prince Ajibola's son, who was in university in England at the time. This contractor went to give him a car, a golf car, brand new car. Prince Ajibola's son contacted his father that this person had sent a car to him. And I can never forget how angry he was. He was so angry that I had to calm him down physically. I had to make him sit down physically because he was so angry. Not only was the gift returned, the contractor, the man, was reported to his government, to the government of his country. And I remember that his government had to make a special apology to our own government and to Prince Bola Ajibola. I remember that the man himself came to the ministry to apologize to the Attorney General for offering a bribe to him. The second incident was a commercial aircraft that was arrested in Nigeria for carrying drugs. The office of the Attorney General, of course, was responsible for ensuring the arrest. A very successful lawyer, whose name I must not mention, claimed that he was acting as an intermediary for some interests who were, somewhat connected to the aircraft. And they came to the Attorney General, Prince Bola Ajibola, to offer him a large sum of money in foreign exchange. When I recall how Prince Bola Ajibola shouted at that senior lawyer and ordered him out of his office, I still remember the shame and fear on the face of the man in later years. Now, the truth of the matter is that those two incidents were just two incidents that I mentioned, which showed that here was a man who believed that public service was public service, and that bribes of any kind, whether it was bribe or thank you, was completely unacceptable. And he set that very high standard even then. In later years, Bola Ajibola decided that his life work will be the establishment of a university. He sold every property that he had in Lagos at the time and moved his home to Abeokuta here. He established the Crescent University with all the resources he had. And I know because he's somebody who confides in me a great deal. And today, he runs that university, subsidizes most of the students because, as you know, a university is not necessarily a lucrative business. And he himself said, when I asked him, why are you selling everything you have to establish a university? He said, at the end of the day, wealth means nothing if it doesn't positively impact the lives of others. Wealth means nothing if it does not positively impact the lives of others.